All right. We're back. Part 2, A Ministry of Division, featuring Dr. Elsa Smith on the Cultured Misfits podcast. Now, if this is your first time here at the Cultured Misfits podcast, I highly recommend that you go back and you listen or watch part 1. So let's enjoy part 2 of A Ministry of Division, featuring Dr. Elsa Smith here on the Cultured Misfits podcast. All right. Are you ready to get in the meat of this?
Yes.
So I have to admit, so this clip of you on TikTok, I didn't realize this was 2023 because it just popped up in my feed like it was
like as if it was yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's else going through, right? But I still felt like it was a really great
I think it was probably that after something I saw online, because it's always something that I saw.
Just triggered. Are you ready just to walk away from all social media? I'm getting that feeling. I'm getting these vibes that you're about to be like, you know what?
There are times that I want to unfollow some of these pages, but then I'm like, no, let me see what they're going to talk
about. Well, I'm going to play the clip and then we're going to discuss, because I would love to really get a full understanding of where you're coming from. And then I'm going to help you feel better about yourself.
I wanted to come here to just vent, actually. I don't know what's been going on over the last couple of years, but all these platforms that are being created, and these platforms are based on divisiveness, and it's kind of like they're putting the genders against one another now. It's like, you know, being single is bad, being married is bad, being a modern woman is bad, being a woman is bad, it's the woman against the man against the woman. There's a lot of division in podcasts. There's a lot of speakers now, a lot of people who have like their own platforms, and this is all they do. It's just all about just like a ministry of division. And so now we're against one another, not realizing that we need one another. That if we were to look at from a biblical perspective, the way it was supposed to be, that God put both man and woman in the garden, that we couldn't do it without ourselves, that though the man was there alone for a certain time, he didn't remain alone forever. So there is a need that we have for one another. We need one another. We need to support one another. We need to encourage one another. So instead of division, we need reconciliation. We need instruction. Yes, we need correction, but with correction comes instruction. So don't just correct and put the woman down and the man down, and he's not doing this and she's not doing this, and all this stuff. But where is the correction afterwards? Where are the strategies, the interventions, the resources if you have? So if you have a platform, take advantage of that platform and actually build people up instead of tearing them down. Build women up instead of tearing them down. Build the man up instead of tearing him down, because we are not perfect at all. But if you have strategies and things that can help someone, why not share it instead of calling women, all this stuff, money hungry and this and that and that and this, and, being single is wrong and being a strong woman is bad now, and all these things. And I just don't know, but it's irking my spirit. It's irking my soul. It's actually really saddened. I'm saddened by it, but it's also frustrating. It's really sad. 10 years from today, where will we be if this is going to be the message that we continue to preach and we continue to upload and we continue to post to the generations that are coming and that will be our age in 10 to 20 years? I don't know, but we got to do better. We definitely have to do better, because this isn't it. This is not what God wants, actually, either.
Wow.
I wanted to come here.
Wow, yo, you was spitting. You was in your feelings. What?
I can't believe
you felt your emotion.
I did.
All right. How do you feel in this moment after hearing that? Like what's
it's even worse today.
Okay.
It's worse.
So you doubling down on that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it's, and I know the correlation is going to be wrong, but what's the difference between dividing us racially, ethnically, and I would say class, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference now? And just adding gender. What's the difference? There's, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna find fault in certain races. You're gonna find fault in certain, you know, financial stuff. The higher, you know, the wealthy, and then
Mm-hmm.
the poor and all that stuff. So we've already had all these things to divide us, and
Right.
so now, now I don't hear so much about those divisions as I hear of gender and woman this, and the if women put out lists of where they don't go on a date, then the men have to,
Mm-hmm.
and this, and you're just like, really, are we playing these games? Like, first of
Yeah. All right. So
we're
I
doing
think,
it to each other.
right, because you said they, right? And so I always, like, my antenna always go up when they say they. Like, Khaled, they don't want you to have a bigger pool than Kanye. Like, they. And it's like, I feel like they is this fictitious boogeyman that we've all kind of
No,
created.
we just don't talk about them.
Right.
But they're, they're on IG with their pages and their
Do they?
podcasts.
Well, so I think, all right. So to answer your first question, I think the why this is such a thing is because we kind of have to deal with each other, like men and women, women and men. Like we have to deal with one another, right? In all other sections, like you don't have to deal with people who are less wealthy than you or more wealthy than you. You don't have to deal with people who have different religious beliefs than you. You don't have to deal with people who live just different lives than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you do, if you want to have the chance of love and meaningful relationships and all that, you have to deal with the opposite sex. And I believe that what's happening right now is that as women, like we're in a very transitional period right now, right? We
Mm-hmm.
went from women not being able to work, have credit, bank accounts, own anything, like basically needing men for survival,
Mm-hmm.
to now y'all don't need us for anything. And kind of vice versa. Like men, we don't
Mm-hmm.
need each other, right? So as women, and I say this with love, and no, I'm not taking shots at anybody or anything, but a lot of women with this newfound found power, understanding of the power that y'all have, are assholes about it. You're not kind. You're not. But what drives me crazy is, some of my favorite podcasts, the women that are female driven, female based. They started out poor,
Mm-hmm.
and then through the journey of this, there's the success of their
Their success.
podcast. They went from being poor and being very vocal about men needing men to take care of them and looking to be, taken on vacations and dinners and bills paid and all that because they were poor. Now they're in a place where they're millionaire, but they won't look back to men. They won't deal with the men that can't match them or make more money than them because they can't be bothered with paying for a guy to go on a vacation with them. They can't be bothered to take a guy out to a nice meal because in their mind they're weak. Which is like, wait, that's kind of fucked up because just a few years ago y'all were
You were in the
and
same.
you were in that same position. So why is it that y'all can't you are unwilling to share a little of what you have? You got a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you take somebody on a vacation, if you pay on their vacation, it's not like
That's not a lot.
you're not going without anything, right? And you have the benefit of their company. How can you have that energy and be proud of it? So like that's a lot. That's the energy a lot of women are operating with. Like generally speaking, I have to keep saying that when I talk about everybody in a general sense, right? So where we're at right now is, as women are understanding, as y'all are understanding your power and you're getting to enjoy it, you also have to adjust and settle down and realize that you're assuming a lot of toxic traits that men used to have when we had the power and we had the money and we had the control. Because like, yeah, if you want to go on vacation, you gotta
put up.
you gotta deal with whatever I'm putting out there. If you want to have a nice life, You got to deal with my bullshit. So that's where we're at right now. And these discussions that you're hearing that are like that seemingly divisive. I mean, they are divisive, naturally divisive, but I don't think they're intentionally divisive. What they're doing is they are making us face our toxic expectations, traits, and sorting them out in real time.
You said the power that men used to have.
Right. We don't have, it's not, which is
How,
not a
I
bad
don't
thing.
agree with that. What do you mean?
Well, because the power that we used to have is that we used to, like 9 times out of 10, we had the money. We had all the things that y'all did not have.
Men still earn more.
I know, but there's a lot of women out there that do very well. And the way things are, like if I have never looked up at looked the metrics up, but apparently Black and brown women are more educated than Black and brown men. Black and brown women are doing much better in corporate America. They're earning more money. So it's, of course, they're not earning the money they deserve to make, but they are still making more money than, say, Brandon, the Uber driver and IT professional at my new job. Like most of the females that I know, they're doing very well. They're making 6 figures comfortably. A lot of my got friends that I know, male friends, aren't doing as well as they are financially. So there's been a shift, right? That's just where it is. So the women that I know that are doing very well financially, that like they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and they can bring any person along, and it'd be a first class trip. You know, they're having to make this shift in expectation. Like, all right, if I really wanna have a chance at finding a good person for me, I shouldn't hold on to these expectations of financial ability or career ability, because I personally don't like the kind of men that are existing on the same plane that they are. Because those dudes, because they make a lot of money, they're kind of assholes because they have all kinds of options, because they can they can go and, so you get what I'm saying?
I
Not really.
do, but I don't know. I think that women, you're saying that the women are becoming assholes because of the success that they have. So they have the toxic traits that comes with the success that
Yes.
men used to.
Yes.
But what I see, and maybe it's just because, you're probably seeing it from another side of the table, is usually women are much more open to not settling, but that money isn't always up top. Like it's more about how you're treated than it
Right.
is about money.
Yeah.
So I don't see the negativity, the toxicity. I see what people like when the things that I see online is I see, men talking about how women are irresponsible. They can't deal with accountability.
Yeah.
It's all about the outside of appearance and this and this and this, which
Yeah.
I can understand, and the the surgeries and all that stuff. Like I know that's where we are today. So it's basically, we're not respectful, we're loud, and it's basically not even talking about money, just talking about personality and really
Yeah.
putting women down. But the age range is what's different, because I do believe that could apply more to like the younger generation. When I think of like, when I see a lot of these events, like these outdoor events where women are twerking and women are, all that stuff. It's a particular age range of that type of woman. When you go older, you don't, they're going to the self-care retreats, the older women.
Well, I think so we'd be remiss not to kind of separate this out, right? So I believe what you're seeing is you're speaking of people who are involved in a certain socioeconomic class,
Mm-hmm.
right? Age has something to do with it, but more it is the people who that's what they do. That like they twerk. They love sexy red. They, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the women put a lot of effort and emphasis on how they look
Mm-hmm.
and not so much into their personalities because how they look is paying the bill, so to speak. It's getting them
Mm-hmm.
what they want, right? And so, yes, that definitely exists out there. But then there are plenty of women who don't do any of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, you you said you used the word settle, which
Yeah, it wasn't the right word.
it has a very bad connotation. But no, but in a way, it is settling because I've watched this with women that I have known for 20 years, right? And I remember what their expectations were of men 5, 10, 15 years ago versus where they are now. 5, 10, 15 years ago, it was a lot of bullshit with their expectations. Now they're at a certain point in their life and they haven't had the life that they wanted
Mm-hmm.
to. And so now they have had to adjust
Mm-hmm.
their expectations. And so to a certain extent it is settling, right? Because now they're like before it was, oh man, he needs to make this kind of money. He needs to have
Mm-hmm.
this kind of career. He needs to do this kind of thing. Now they're like, I just want him to treat me well. Right?
Just let him
It's,
be breathing. He needs to breathe.
yeah, it's not that bad. But they're like, oh, you know what? Oh, I wanted a white collar guy, but a blue collar guy. It's like, oh, as long as he treats me well. Yeah, like, oh my God.
But women, that's more our rhetoric. Like that's how we speak over time.
Mm-hmm.
Men are the other way around. So I believe you start off much more open when you're younger. As you get older, now you basically, I think you see your value. You know that men hold their value longer because you guys can procreate longer and all that stuff, and your body doesn't
Mm-hmm.
shift. So someone in their 50s can still talk to someone in their 30s from
Yeah.
a male perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well as go their age or older. Women are a little bit much different as they age. So I do believe men as they get older get a little bit much more. Now it's like, oh no, she has to look like this and this and this. And you're just like,
Yes. Well,
well, wait,
yeah.
you're like,
Yeah, but
I've seen that change.
I think that I believe that is a function of also being disqualified or discounted because we didn't fit certain qualifications. Like, oh, okay, I didn't make this kind of money, so I wasn't considered because I didn't make this kind of money, or I didn't have this kind of career, or I didn't when we were younger, right? Um, and then also it's what you go through your relationships, right? What do you experience with the people that in your past? You get, as we get older, right? You get less tolerant of the bullshit. And then
Mm-hmm.
you feel like if you're going to have to deal with the bullshit, then you're going to get what you want out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to take shit from somebody that doesn't make my dick hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? I am not going to, if I'm going to have to put up with somebody giving me a hard time or stressing me out, she's going to at least look good on my arm. Right? I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's right or wrong, but it's just what happens as we get older. We become more discerning, become more married to what it is we want out of our person for that moment, that period in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because none of these things is forever. Because we as we evolve to one stage to the next stage to the other, what we want, need out of our partner changes. And which is why a lot of relationships don't run the distance because people aren't evolving at the same time. They're not recognizing that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
when we were in our 20s, money was the thing. Like having the luxury car and the luxury house and having a lifestyle, that was the thing. But now that we're in our 40s and we've had all that bullshit, we realize it doesn't really make a difference to how good our lives are. What actually
Mm-hmm.
makes a difference is our ability to travel. So now we have to travel. If you have one person that's on the travel tip, but the other person's still like, no, I don't want to spend money on a trip because I want a new Benz or whatever. That's when there starts to be friction.
Mm-hmm.
So, I I really do. So I think the other thing that's vexing you with these posts in what you're seeing is she rolled her eyes, guys. It's like these posts is the energy into which they the message is given out, right? You have somebody in front of the mic and they're yelling or they're just being like like they're throwing a lot of energy to it. They're being extreme, right? I promise you that is just performative. And it's performative because if in this world of social media, podcasting, content creation, what stands out is that emotion.
Drama.
The drama. Because that's what people pay attention to, right? And listen, all the positive, like affirmation type posts I put out there, maybe like 1 or 2 likes, right? I put some bullshit out and it's like all the likes. Like that's what people respond to. So any seasoned content creator who really wants to build their platform,
So now we're feeding toxicity.
We're feeding. We're what we're doing is we're doing what it takes to get a person's attention. You know, obviously our feeds are different from what you're seeing versus what I'm seeing, right? From what I see in my personal feed, like from tonight's conversation, from Ace, you know,
those are good.
They are good, right?
The other ones always have pill in them.
The pill? Red pill?
They have pill in their title.
Oh, okay. All right. But it's a perfect example. KRS-One, rapper, knowledge reigns supreme. You know, criminal minded, whatever. So we know him now as edutainment, like positivity, education, like uplifting the community. But his first album, he's on the cover holding a gun. And the album, I believe, is called Sex, Guns, and Violence. Right? And his rationale, like from the beginning, his goal was to be this person of enlightenment and uplifting the Black race and all that in his community. But he understood that if he came out of the box talking that positive stuff, no one was going to pay him any mind. So he does the first album, sex, drugs, all that stuff. But he, you know, if you listen to it, it's all lesson based. It's not for this. It's not gratuitous just for the sake of being gratuitous. It is. There's messaging behind it. But he got everybody's attention, and then he was able to shift into where he needed to be after he got their attention, won their loyalty and a credibility. And that's what a lot of these platforms. I hope that's what they're doing. You can't because if you're just like guys, we just all get along, like. Nobody's gonna be paying attention to that, right? But if you're like, yo, y'all tripping, blah blah, like, because when it's all said and done, what do we want? We want experiences, right? We want to feel. We want to feel. It's all about experiencing. It's about emotional response. It's all those things. So somebody delivering their content like calmly and flat and like really like monotone, mundane. It's not going to catch your attention versus the person that's like, yo.
But then oftentimes they're in front of the female, you know, it's usually like a round table.
Yes.
And usually the male are putting down whatever female is in that round table and their thought process.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, so now you are, not only are you talking about it, but now you're displaying the disrespect. Right? Versus kind of saying, okay, that's how you think. Well, have you thought about this? Or, you know, how can we work together? So it's not solution focused. It's very much pointing the finger.
But you're watching a clip versus.
I'm only watching the clip.
You're watching Kevin Samuel. Yeah, he made the face, right? But did you ever watch all of his things?
No, because I didn't like his delivery. Okay. I've watched Donovan. I don't like the delivery. I've watched others.
So from what I saw from Kevin Samuel, he would start out like, so what's the problem? And the girl would be like, oh, you know, it's so hard out here trying to find a man and all that stuff. Like, okay, well, what are your expectations for a man? Oh, he needs to make, you know, I make $200,000 a year, so he's got to make that and then some. He's got to be tall. He can't be short. He's got to, you know, he's got to have a really good job and everything. He's got to be on his shit. And he was like, okay, all right, okay. So you make $200,000 a year. She's like, yeah. Okay, all right. So do you have any kids? Yeah, I got 4 kids with 5 baby fathers. Okay. All right. She's like, do you think that the guy that you would want, do you think that he would like, if he had a choice between you and then someone who doesn't have kids and then in their 20s and doesn't look like you, and he would try to be kind about like saying the fact that she's like, yo, you're hard on the eyes. Like, right? So that's how he would start out. And then she would push back and be like, well, no, because I blah, blah, blah. And he'd be like, but really, do you think? I'm just trying to help you to see, like, do you think that if he had a choice, like, no, I'm saying because I got my shit together. Blah, blah. And then this is when you would see that part, the clip. This is where it comes in. And he's like, yo, you're ugly. You got kids. You're over the hill. You're washed up. All the things that he was trying not to say
at the beginning,
at the very beginning, because she wouldn't get it, because people are delusional. I'm not going to say women are delusional. I'm going to say people are delusional. And they sometimes we think once we get to a certain socioeconomic level, the other things go out the door. Where I feel bad for women is that for the most desirable guy, that like if the average woman lists out the things that she wants for a guy in terms of financial, physical, emotional, he's like less than 1% population that guy that would exist.
That's available.
That would exist, right? But so if he's less than 1%, that means he can have whoever he wants.
True. Yeah, he has more choice.
He has a lot more choices. So, and he doesn't even have to make one choice. He can have 2 or 3 choices, right?
At the same time.
At the same time. So it's like, unfortunately, you're delusional if you don't think that you have to make some concessions. I don't want to say settling, but you have to make some concessions.
Then why do we have to be rude about it and not have dialogue instead of a shaming, preaching, demeaning session? Because it's usually a lot of shaming that happens in these sessions.
But you're catching the shaming in these clips because in the beginning, the regular conversation wasn't working. That's the lack of accountability and the they say delulu. There's a lot of delulu, like, because like no one, like, I don't want you telling me that, like, yeah, because I'm underemployed, I'm not desirable. Like, I wouldn't want to hear that.
No,
I wouldn't
of course not.
Right. But if that's the truth, then that's the truth. But factor in the cameras, the mic is there, and people are trying to save face. It's like, no, I'm not trying to hear it. But if you have to, like, sometimes, Elsa, it really, you have to be cruel in order to be kind. And unfortunately, the clip of if you were to redo that situation, that what you're talking about, and instead of doing a clip where the person is demeaning or talking down to the woman, if you did the first part.
Yes.
Right.
That would give a different feel.
Right.
Than just putting the part where you see shame and blame and all that stuff. Because it's like, what are you gaining by blaming and shaming? I don't think it's going to change that person's behavior or thought process, because some people are very set in their ways. Because if it didn't work at the beginning, I don't know if shaming will work either.
So in those,
in my opinion.
No, okay. I love that qualification. Love that, my opinion. So here's the choice, right? So you can either show that part where you're shaming and like he's like, so kind of the dude looks like an asshole for doing it, but she looks silly. Well, she looks like the victim, right? Or he could do the clip where he looks like the smart person and she looks like an idiot.
Yes, you can do that.
Right. So which is worse for her? Looking like the victim or looking like the idiot?
I mean, the victim, there's rudeness. Well, I think both of them probably have.
Yeah. Look,
but we all know that she's not the victim. We all know that it's the delivery. It's always the delivery. I don't know. It's something about,
I know, but there are a lot of people won't accept the package that you're trying to deliver.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like, so that's the problem. And I think, I'm going to I try to give everybody the benefit the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like if I was in that position, if like we're having that kind of conversation and we've been going back and forth for like a good 10 minutes and I'm making what I feel like are solid points and you are countering my solid points with just delusional bullshit, I'm going to get to the point where now I'm going to start yelling at you and being demeaning because nothing else has worked.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
This is not like you sit down and I just immediately go in on you.
Mm-hmm.
This is like we've had a whole discussion and I'm like making thoughtful arguments and trying to show you like rational things in the hopes of helping you. Like, because we're having this conversation because I want to help you. I want you to be better. I want you to find your person. I want you to be happy. I want you not just to find your person and to be happy, but find the person and be happy with someone that you legitimately can build a life together with that lasts more than a year or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here I am trying, this is what I want for you, and you're countering me with bullshit. Like bullshit. So why am I not going to get to the point? If I care, why am I not going to get to the point where I'm like, now I got to cuss you out in the hopes that something will jar loose that you'd be like, you know what? You're right. You're right.
No, you make a good point.
Yeah,
but it just happens so much. And there's females now doing it towards female.
Because
there's
one Lulu.
Because there's one on IG that I'm just like,
with the Lulu. Like, and I understand you being a therapist and you're thinking about the emotional scarring that happens to someone who's receiving
and it's not going to change them.
But also just being kind is definitely not going to change them.
But maybe some instruction or maybe kind of like say, hey, I've developed an online course that I'm going to give you for free, or I'm going to, just a donation so that you can learn communication skills. If that's what you think, like whatever it is, but offer a solution. Don't just say like,
well, the solution was in the beginning. So what I'm going to challenge you. This is what I'm going to challenge you. So the next time you see a clip like that, right? I'm going to challenge you to watch the whole episode, the whole episode to see how it got there. Because remember, the clip is they're called sizzle clips, right? Mm-hmm. It's sizzles. Like you're supposed to see it and they work. Now, okay, you're turned off, but they still got an emotional response out of you, right?
Yeah.
It's living in your head. It's getting you on TikTok, riding with the windows down, laying it down like just frustration, ministry of divisionists. I'm like, oh, that was dope. That's a dope combination of words. I love it. But that's what those clips are supposed to do. But if we take a step back from those clips, from what I experience with just me trying to date and the women that I talk to and my female friends, there is this general state of delusional expectation that prevent a lot of people from having happiness, because what is looked for, what is desired, what is needed is out of it. It doesn't make sense for the world that we live in. Like, we went and I'm pretty sure like that whole like the Cheesecake Factory thing, that was just something it's trolling. It's professional trolling. That long list of pretty much every fucking restaurant in the world, you can't take me on a date, or all the date things that you couldn't do. It was for fun. It did what it was supposed to do. But then you have people that sign up and like, yeah, I agree. No Cheesecake Factory. I agree. No. What I loved about that list was that it showed me the women that I need to spend more time paying attention to, because of the ones that are like, yeah, take the Cheesecake Factory. I'm down with that. Yeah, we'll go to Olive Garden. Like, what?
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity. Like, so these posts are a very good opportunity. I'm putting y'all out in game. It's a good opportunity to display how reasonable and rational you are, instead of raging against the fact that these lists exist, or the fact that there are people out there that are like, yeah, don't take me there. Like, thank you for putting the list out now, because now that girl that I thought I was interested in talking about, I can't take her to Cheesecake Factory. Now I know she's not for me,
Yeah,
and I can move on. You see what I'm saying?
I know. It's just how we get here. I don't know. And the other one who thinks that the woman shouldn't vote, because as soon as the women voted, that's when everything in this country went downhill.
You're
So
talking
that's
about
her.
the North Carolina, the guy running. He's a lieutenant governor, and he's running for governor in North
Well, this
Carolina.
this girl is on
Right.
platform. She has her podcast, and she has
Okay.
and that's, I mean, she even has merch that says it.
Okay.
So, that's where I'm kind of like, you know,
So
I don't know if that platform and that message started somewhere and then ended at, well, now we should take away your right to vote because you have put people in office and you have made decisions with your voting process that have brought the country down. But if
yeah.
men had kept the control, and feminism, because everybody is against the feminist movement and all that
Right.
stuff, because they blame all this change today
Yeah.
on the feminist movement.
Yeah.
So they want to
fault.
they want to remove.
I'm playing.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, really, like that's where we have to go in order to correct
Well,
from their point of view. And their platforms are pretty big.
so
They have,
that's the So the problem is, so for you, I believe that your problem is that you take these people entirely too seriously.
Well, what else? Why are they out there preaching this? Why are they spending their time?
Because there's money to be made.
Well, they're making money the wrong way.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and I don't
And
say
some
all that to
people and
agree.
their following is believing them, though.
Yeah, but then that's been the American way since day one, unfortunately. And so I'm not explaining it away because I agree with it. I think it's terrible. I really do. But I understand. And we just look at Don John the moron, Trump, right? Um, it's been a cash grab for him from the very beginning. And these people that he is triggering, saying what he knows they want to hear, whether or not he believes it or not, he knows that if he says it and does it, they're going to throw money his way. And I'm seeing more and more people do it because we've gotten so used to operating with our hair on fire every day because of something new that we've been exposed to that has caused us to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that that's who holds our attention. Like, good, bad, indifferent, ugly, whatever. We're paying attention to this person because they are triggering a response from us. And a lot of these people that are they're racist, they're sexist, they're all the ist or isms, right? They're all the things. They are so willing to throw money towards anybody that they think is going to help them get society back to where they want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are like, they don't think it can happen. So therefore, they say this shit, not realizing that, like, actually this shit could really actually happen.
Yeah.
And your money is not going to protect you from it.
Yes.
So it's frustrating, but I don't take people serious like that. I think, so my marching order for you and for anybody who feels the way that you feel is to stop supporting the content that triggers you in this way. If we stop watching the videos, if we stop commenting on them, we stop sharing them, stop liking them, just don't interact with them at all, the algorithm, they go further and further down in the algorithm. And then, we boost the content that we like and that we agree with, then more people will do that kind of content. So, like, now I'm to the point where I don't even, like, I unfollow and unfollow accounts or places that have content that I don't like, because it's like watering. Like, you don't water your weeds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You got to pull them.
You got to pull them, right? So, you know, if I see a couple, and it's not the first time I see something that I'm like, oh no, I'm following, but if it's an account or whatever that I feel like after 2 or 3 times, they in a very short window of period time that
Mm-hmm.
they're showing me things that I don't like, or I just unfollow, because these places exist because they get support, and they get support because people don't
That's
understand their
true.
power. It's like, you realize when you watch it, even if you don't interact with the post, if you're going through your feed and you sit there and you watch that video play, that rings off as a play. That means that's
That's
a
true.
positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
It's going to
like,
keep coming.
it's gonna keep coming. So you feel better or no? She's like, no. She's looking at me like, please, 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 no. No, we do live in a divisive society. It is
We
very
do.
divisive. I do feel like it is necessary at this point in time, because we need to sort out what's right, what's wrong,
But
what
now
can it
it's
stay.
black against black, brown against
But it's
brown.
always been that way.
It's like
But it's
black
always been.
man against black woman. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always been
we're
that way though.
we're
It's
we're going in the wrong direction.
I don't think we're going in the wrong direction. I think I feel like what is happening is that we are getting to know one another. I don't think we knew each other before this. And right now, these conversations, this exposure of feeling, ideas, are letting us know who each other is. And as soon as we kind of sort through it, calm down, and learn, like, what I would really like for to happen is that our collective emotional IQ to increase, so that we can learn how to disagree without it being an argument.
Yes.
We can learn how to know that we don't have to love everything. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have to hate everything. We can identify, like, if something is not for you, then it's just not for you.
Mm-hmm.
And there doesn't have to be all this emotion attached with this. That's not for me. That's where I think we need to be. But I do enjoy these conversations, because it is helping people to, like, we kind of been in our own little world and our own little silos, and not understanding where anybody else is coming from. And now it's all coming out.
Well, that's true. We have been in our silo. But
Yeah.
what I'm wondering too, if some of these discussions and these messages will bring those people who don't want to deal with it, who will put us in our silo. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm removed. So I'm gonna remove myself, and I don't comment. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it bothers me, so I may post something like that. But that's
Yeah.
only for the small people that follow me
Yeah,
or
it's
look at
building
me.
your platform.
But
Look at you. Got
you,
you on the podcast talking about it. See?
but then at the same time, then I'm not going to be in the mix, and I'm just going to roll by myself. And I'm like, you know what? Y'all
Well,
can.
that's why I'm working with you right now. That's why. See? You didn't realize this was a therapy session, did
No,
you?
I didn't think so.
You didn't think so? No, you really have to. No, it's the four agreements by John
Yes.
Pablo
Yeah.
Ruiz, right?
Yeah.
Speak impeccable and be impeccable with your
Mm-hmm.
speech. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions. Do your best. Always do your best, right? You don't take things personally,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't make assumptions. Those are the two major things, right? And
Very
I think
big.
a lot of times when we assume people's intention
Mm-hmm.
behind what they're doing, and we're often wrong about it,
Mm-hmm.
So if you just kind of hold on to the two of those four things, I think it would prevent you from going into your old silo and cutting the world off, right?
Yeah.
You should be listening. Like, you can learn something from any and everybody, right? And as you're watching these clips, the lesson you could be missing is understanding why people do the way they think, and why they do the things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you process those things, then when you come across someone who is similar to that, you might be able to open their eyes to a different way of approaching life. Because the same way you see these clips and you're like, oh my gosh, He's shaming her. He's embarrassing her. There's someone watching that clip that is like, damn, I think the same way. And seeing it happen to someone else is making me realize that I might need to change up how I approach my life.
I hope so.
Oh,
I hope you're right.
no, I'm right. I know. All right, let's switch gears and have some fun. That was I enjoyed that
Yeah,
conversation.
that was good.
I hope, yeah, that was good. All right, Doc. Am I the asshole?
Do you want me to read it?
I mean, I can read it.
No, I'll read it.
Okay, you better read it well.
I, 19 male, and my best friend, 19 female, met when I was 16 and she was 17. And she just asked me to hang out one day. Ever since, we have been amazing friends, hanging out constantly, sharing everything about ourselves, and being very open. I have been friends with her through one boyfriend about a year long, maybe 5 months after we met. After that, she talked about him so much, and I tried my best to comfort her. Not out of any weird ulterior motives, but I really do care deeply about her. She hooked up with one guy about 3 months ago, and she told me about it and how much she regretted it. Again, I tried to talk to her through that and not judge her at all. Though this did hurt me a bit, as for maybe the last 8 months, I've developed a huge crush on her. This week, we went to an Airbnb, and after getting there late-ish in the night, about 9 p.m., we started drinking. We did everything we normally do when we drink, and though she has always been touchy when she drinks, it seemed to be a bit more that night. Eventually, we made our way to the bedroom where she fell asleep on top of me. While a bit weird, I'm horrible at taking hints.
I feel you, brother.
And I go to her house to sleep in her bed all the time. So I didn't think too deeply about it. After about 30 minutes, she wakes up and we cuddled. And then she began kissing me, leading into having sex. Afterwards, we talked about it for like an hour, just laying there holding each other. It wasn't awkward at all. And I was a virgin, so she was very communicative and we talked through it. The next day, waking up, we stayed in bed until about 4 p.m. Crazy, I know. And talked through it, saying we don't regret it and we love each other. After getting back to the Airbnb that night, I didn't think it would happen again, though we had drinks again. I was close to falling asleep when we started talking. Then after maybe 2 minutes, she says she wants me to kiss her. We have sex again and talk afterwards too. The next day, we talked through everything and it was not awkward at all. I couldn't believe how normal it felt to talk about it and go about our day as planned. We just got back home today and haven't talked about it since this morning. Overall, I'm scared for the future. This girl knows everything about me, and we have been extremely close for years. We get along so well. I really do value our friendship more than she knows, and I am scared how this will change it. I'm definitely not opposed to seeing where it goes, but how do I approach the situation? I'm scared to ruin the friendship, but I'm also scared to not take an opportunity to have something great, I guess. Not sure how to word this all. LOL. Basically asking, what do I do now?
But you don't know what to do, huh?
I think this one is they have to talk through it. Just like they've proven they have really great communication.
Mhm.
So I think that if they were able to feel comfortable after doing the nitty gritty and talk, then why not stay with that vibe in terms of talking about, well, what's next? Because not talking is going to make it weak. Talking might still make it weird, but with knowledge and understanding about where I know you're coming from, you know where I'm coming from. And now that allows us more control over what happens next. When you don't communicate, there's no control because now I'm assuming, I'm in my head,
Yep.
we're overthinking, right? And so it brings in things that might ruin that friendship.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming.
That's a great place coming from. So my question to you, have you ever been in a situation even close to like what, like with you had a male friend that you, mm, okay. Do you feel like, what do you think she's down for based on what you read?
I think she's just down for some intimacy. I don't think she's invested in him. Like from a relationship, I think she cares about him, but it
Hmm.
just seemed that if they had slept in each other's bed before, if they had spent all this time before, why is it that now it happened? Unless she's on the rebound because
They just broke up. I've been
yeah.
friends with her through one boyfriend about a year long, about maybe 5 months after.
So was he the rebound because he didn't talk about his relationships, he only mentioned her relationships.
Well, I think so. I think you're spot on with like needing to have a conversation and see what's going on because um I I feel like I feel like so typically women are the ones who are like, I don't want to ruin a relationship with
Mhm.
sex, right? But then they're so young,
Mhm.
right? They're still pretty young. But I feel like she's like moving in a direction of being closer with him, and it's just for him to fuck it up. Like she may have been throwing him signs all along since they
She
met, and
could.
he was missing it. And then she finally was just like, you know what? I'm going to be aggressive, much like what we talked about in the beginning of
Mhm.
our of this episode. Um, and the fact that it didn't happen just once, it happened twice, and then it was cuddling. It wasn't like
It was
you're
a
just
lot
gonna
of
fuck. It was a
intimacy.
lot of intimacy,
Mhm.
and so they have the relationship. I hate when people say they don't want to ruin the friendship um, when there's an attraction because to me, the friendship is ruined anyway. Like if I like you, if I'm attracted
Mm.
to you,
There's
I
no friendship?
well, no, we can be friends, but I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to be your friend the moment you get with somebody, and I'm just like, you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I'm not gonna be able to handle it. I'm not gonna be able to handle it. I'm not gonna be able to handle you dating and then
Mhm.
getting committed and then getting engaged and then getting
Mhm.
married and have like I'm going to struggle with that. So
Yeah.
at some point in time, I'm not going to be able to be around. So I feel like that whole like I don't want to ruin a friendship. If there's an attraction there, then just go for it because it's ruined anyway. It's fucking ruined anyway. It's not at some point in time it's going to end because one person is going to not be able to handle whatever happens to the other person that falls outside of the expectations of what that person wanted. Like, yeah, I wanted you. I'm attracted to you. Damn, you're with somebody else.
Mhm.
You've rejected me. No, I can't sit there and talk to you about your relationship problems. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right.
That's true.
Yeah. I
'Cause
go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, he doesn't have the or you wouldn't or he wouldn't have the capacity to support because of the attraction. So
Yes.
now, yeah. Yeah. No, that's
Especially
true.
after sex. They done had sex, especially after sex. It's that can might
Definitely.
happen if you've never been intimate, but once you got down and
Mhm.
had those things, and it was good enough for it to happen more than once.
Yeah.
Um, it really does drive me crazy when people, especially women, are like, I don't want to ruin the friendship. It's like, man, look, we've had the discussion, so the friendship is ruined at this point. So we might as well
You can't
see
salvage the little bit that's left?
if we sex, we have to
No, like
sex.
if when she says I don't want to ruin the friendship, salvage what you can, even though you say the friendship's already ruined, right? But it's not fully ruined. It's maybe partially or quarter ruined. So
younger
why not?
younger Brandon, possibly Brandon of today. No, you gotta go. Like I'm
The
not.
friendship is over?
It's over. It's done. It's done. Because I can't. I don't want to have my heart broken every time
She's
you
dating?
mention she's dating someone else. Every time we have a conversation, and I'm like, "Hey, what are you up to?" Oh, well, Bobby's getting ready to come over. We're gonna do like I don't need for that. I don't
So you can't separate?
not if I want her. Like if I'm attracted, if I'm really legitimately
Can't you
attracted.
control your attraction?
Yeah, but I can't control my heartbreak, my disappointment. I like just being honest. It's like, yeah, no, no, I don't. I would rather just move on and like she can have another male friend because, and I did see a clip. Speaking of volatile clips, right? But this guy made a very good point about men, how men lose out when they're friends with females, right? Who like that they're attracted, right? So the woman doesn't like the guy likes her. Because the guy likes her, he does all the boyfriend things that she needs. Emotional support, like fixing things in the house, just being there, like showing up in the space as a boyfriend would, except that you're not her boyfriend, you're not having sex, there's no intimacy, right? So you're having this relationship. She's getting everything she needs and wants out of the guy, but the guy is not getting
Anything.
his thing out of it. He's not.
Yeah.
It's just a
Hopefully
drain
she's
on him.
cooking.
Yeah, if that, right? And I felt that. I'm like, yeah, because I've been in that position. I've been that guy. Like, yo, I show up for the girl. I'm there. She can count on me all the time. But then when it's
You're empty-handed.
I'm empty. Yeah, well, not empty-handed, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's like, wow. And I actually don't like looking at it from that point of view, but it's actually very true.
Mm-hmm.
And in that situation, there's no reason for her. She's not motivated to ever look at me in any other different way because I'm always there.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody is always there, you take them for granted.
You can't take advantage. You get used to them being there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not looking at them in any way. So yeah, so I'm like at this stage, it's like I'm not interested in entertaining relationships with women that I'm attracted to that they're not attracted to me, and there's no chance that something could happen down. It's like I'm not saying I'll be 1,000% ghost, but I'm just saying
didn't you start as a platonic friendship and develop the attraction, or did the friendship begin because of the attraction?
I'm gonna be quite honest. 99.9% of my female friends, yet y'all listening, is because on some level I'm attracted to them.
So then you are the one who entered with the situation already against you.
Yeah.
Then that's your fault.
I know. I'm not saying it's not. But what I'm saying, I'm not taking on any new ones. That's what I'm saying. Like, so the ones that have already established
membership's
themselves,
closed.
Yeah, the membership is closed.
Oh
We're
my
accepting
God.
no more patients.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm not accepting any new ones. And yes. And I'm not saying it's a black and white thing. That's not binary. Of course I have friends that I find them attractive. But I also know that it would never work.
Uh-huh.
Okay. There are ones that like I think it might work, but I'm not sure, but it's okay. Like what we have right now is cool.
It's fine.
It's fine, right?
Don't touch it.
There's some that like, yes, if they ever were like, yo, let's see, I'd give it a try. What I'm saying is I'm not taking on anymore. I'm just, that's it.
You got enough. I think you have your hands full.
I have my hands full.
Oh my God.
Figuratively and literally, and the shit sucks. No.
You put yourself there.
Well, I mean.
You put yourself there.
Really?
Yeah, you did by becoming friends with people you were attracted to. You could have said from the door, you could have said deuces.
No, but I'm also the type that I believe
you have such a big heart.
Well, thank you. Yes, I do. No, I am the type that I've learned not to force relationships to be what I want them to be. I allow relationships to be what they need to be. Yeah, that's it. Like, so if I meet you and I'm physically attracted to you, and if in the very beginning that doesn't spark anything, but somehow for some reason we connect and we talk and the conversation's good, then I'm going to fall back and just kind of see where things go. Because sometimes we just need a little bit of time to figure out like, oh yeah, you are that can be that level. So yeah, like yes, but yes, I see you catch my eye. I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm not gangbusters about it, but in terms of him, you're right. He needs to communicate. Do not be afraid to ruin the relationship. The only way he can ruin a relationship at this point in time is to be stupid about it and weak. I feel like she's giving him all the signs that she's like serious about him. And it's beautiful because they have a friendship already. So the only thing that was missing was the physical piece from it. And I'm assuming because they did it twice, that the physical piece is good. So they're good to go. I might wait. I would see how things go in terms of the hanging out. Like see like the
Like
next
now,
few, yeah, like
how do they interact? How they
yeah.
talk?
Instead of just like being the next time they see each other, being like, so are we boyfriend and girlfriend? But because that could freak her out. She might be just like feeling out the waters as well. So just, don't rush into the conversation, but be ready to have the conversation.
Very true.
All right. So I will read this one. This is crazy, man. Am I the asshole for refusing to take down a picture that is my son's dead name? Boy, 2024 problems, I tell you.
I'm telling you.
I, 42 female, have a son, Ben, 19 male, with my husband, Tom. Ben was born as a girl and realized that by 16 that he wanted to transition and go from female to male. Me and Tom weren't initially supportive, and I took longer to come around, and only did so after Tom passed in an accident, and I realized how distant my relationship with Ben was. When Ben was born, Tom got a tattoo of our daughter's name on his arm, and we have a lovely picture together of me, Tom, and Ben at a few months old, at a beach where Tom's tattoo is visible. Ben doesn't like me to keep the picture up of him past when he was a kid or older and still female presenting. So I only have pictures out in the house of him as a toddler and an adult now. The only picture that I have not agreed to take down is the one of us at the beach. I really like that one of Ben, and Ben's only issue is this tattoo for me. But for me is one of the happiest memories that day, and I don't want to take it down. Ben is very upset about me keeping the picture up and says I'm being cruel as it reminds him of his dead name. ETA, Tom passed when Ben was still a female presenting. So the only photo I have of us three that Ben used to like, is the one at the beach where Ben is a lot younger and wearing a gender neutral outfit. Also, the photo is up in the hallway portion just outside of my bedroom, which is not anywhere near Ben's room and will not be seen by house guests unless they come in my room. Whoa. I know. I'm just saying, she has a guest come to her room, so you know what's about to go
So
down.
he wants that to be taken down.
Yeah, the picture that Ben does not want that picture of them.
Well, whose house is it? Because Ben needs to be moving out. Ben's 19.
I love the ethnic energy. That is some old black and brown shit. Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
that's
I agree.
Unless Ben or Benjamina or whatever Ben's name is Ben is, unless you're paying half the bills, your opinion doesn't matter, and this isn't your home. Your name is not on the mortgage.
Yeah, I know.
And move out if you don't like it. Go find your own place and put pictures of what you want.
Yeah.
That solves it.
So if she wanted to be, she really wanted to be like the way she's been, which is very accommodating. And I think a lot of it has to be, I think a lot for her, maybe there's a level of guilt for the years that she wasn't accepting of it. And so now she's like overcompensating, right? By like taking down all the pictures around the house and making the world very comfortable for Ben now, right? If she wanted to stay with that energy and keep the picture up, she could always have picture airbrushed, like a copy of the picture airbrushed, the tattoo removed from the name. And so that could be that's a workaround. My issue with this situation is that I'm definitely an ally of transgender, LGBTQA plus. And I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I understand what they go through and what they experience. But something that a quality that seems to that be prevalent with them. Let me say them, but that bothers me is this need to control the world around them to a level that I feel like is very not fair.
Mm.
And so this would be an example of it, right? It's one picture in this woman's house of her family, of a memory that she's very fond of. And Ben is focused on one part of it, which is the dead name on the tattoo on the arm, and ignoring the fact that your mother is, to a certain extent, grieving her husband
Mm-hmm.
and the family that she used to have, which is
Mm-hmm.
not there. To need to have that much control in the house is, to me, it's like that's too much.
Yeah. Yep.
Very much. It's very, very too much. I don't think she's the asshole for not taking the poster down. I think she'd be an asshole if she did take the picture down. Because
Yeah, because it goes against her desire.
her desire, and she's sending the wrong message to Ben, which is the world does not conform to you, you conform to the world. And not
Very true.
not every aspect. You can't make every aspect not be uncomfortable.
And you can't make it about you.
Right.
Oh,
Right. So
it seems to be where society wants to go. And it's like, it can't always be the way you want things to be.
it's not
Like,
Burger
it
King.
just can't.
It's not
Like,
Burger King.
life will teach you really quick that it just do not care.
That's the problem. And I know it's like, wow, man. Like you really want me to take down this picture because your name is tattooed? And like,
And it's
is the lens zoomed in on the goddamn tattoo? Like, I would love to see this picture to see how prominent.
Is it an 8.5 by 10, or is it a,
wall size, like a poster? I don't know. It's and I know the way the brain works. Like once your brain focuses on something, it does stand out.
Mhm.
That one detail. So I'm sure when Ben looks at that picture, the tattoo is huge, right? That's what stands out, and he's missing the beauty of the moment.
Mhm.
And I'm sure he was probably too young to even remember that moment, that day anyway. So
Mhm.
there doesn't hold the same.
The whole sentiment
You're right.
for
So,
him.
but
or her.
no, she's not the asshole for like, yo, keep that picture up. And if Ben keeps talking his shit, I make copies of that picture, be every fucking where, every wall. It'd be
Now you're the asshole.
Yes. Well, yeah, if I'm going to be the asshole, I'm going to be all in. We're going all in. Yes.
That's messed up.
I know, but yo, you're going to learn today.
Oh my goodness.
You're gonna
I'd be
miss the
like, you just
days.
move out.
Right? You're going to miss the days that there was just one picture, like in the back, in the hallway by my bedroom.
That's messed up.
Oh, Elsa, this was great. What did you learn this episode? Did you learn anything? No. Or do you feel like you've been moved in any way, one way or the other?
I
Did
mean, I
move
think the
needle?
biggest thing is, if something bothers me, I could go and look at the whole podcast or the whole interview or whatever they were talking about. So I
Right.
would have to go and look at the whole thing and not just look at their clip. Unfollow if I need to.
Mhm.
And then also just not take it personal, which I think for me is just I take it as like the therapist is kind of like, man, what damage are they making to the young minds that are being molded? Because that's where I get upset. Because I think that young folks today aren't as mentally strong.
No.
Because they're swayed by a lot of like information that they see.
Mhm.
So I'm like, like you are literally putting some of this information in like these young minds that are going to inform the decisions they make.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the outcome is going to be. Not that I may not see it or not, but I'm just not as hopeful
Mhm.
for what the generation it will look like in terms of relationship success in the next maybe 15 to 25 years. I wonder what relationships will look like the next 2 decades.
Huh. Well, there's gonna be a lot of single ass people. That's what's gonna be.
So
It's gonna be. That we're already heading there.
yeah,
We're already heading. It's we don't. Our society's not set up for us to need one another in the way that we used to need one another for survival. Now, maybe if, there is a bloodbath and, revolutionary war, civil war, I should say, and, society collapses, we will be brought back to needing one another to survive, because we've been knocked back to the Stone Ages, so to speak. But no, I do. The other thing that we do is like the counter programming with this podcast and your posts and stuff. Counter program. Like we see somebody put some toxic shit out there, then you can not ignore it and you can comment maybe and counter program. I mean, sometimes I do that.
That's important though, because people have to hear the other side.
Yes.
And it seems that these podcasts are getting more attention, or maybe they're just coming up more. And the ones who aren't, who are doing things healthy and not toxic, and they're counter programming and they're just really sound advice with still opinion, but sound. They don't get as much.
Because they're not sizzling.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's the showmanship. It's the showmanship aspect of it. So, and I struggle with that with this platform and trying to be more exciting and engaging, but also honoring who I am and the vibe and whatnot. It's tough to do, but yeah, sometimes you gotta show your ass. You gotta to get people's attention.
We're backwards.
Well, I think it's always been that way. History. You gotta look at history and whatnot. Anyway, Elsa, how do people get a hold of you so they can see more of you in the car with the windows down, putting it out there?
Well, on TikTok, they can follow me, Elsa J. Smith. On Instagram, it's Elsa Jalissa 723.
Okay, Elsa Smith. And you can follow me at DJ Silk on the gram, DJ Silk on TikTok. I'm trying to TikTok more. I'm trying.
You have to. I don't know if it's gonna be banned, but
no, it's not gonna be banned.
No.
They'll somebody will buy it and all that stuff. But yeah, and then you can check me out Soul School on Mixcloud.com /DJ Silk 12. Soul School on Fridays on 88.9 FM WEAA, the voice of the community, with Erica Kane, Lena J, from 9 to 9:20 a.m. But I feel like you guys should listen to the show every morning from 8 to 10. Really good show. It's easy. The music's good. There's nothing confrontational or get you riled up.
Just music.
It's just music and good conversation and news delivered responsibly. And so you can live stream that on the WEAA app, or you can go to weaa.org. Very simple. So yeah. So until the next time, this was the Cultured Misfits Podcast. Thank you for spending this time together. And we are out.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.